Excuse me, where it is?
In bottom of the GoToMeeting screen, you can find record this meeting. Record this meeting.
Okay, let me check.
Click on that. Okay, let's start. So my 1 minute. Hi guys. First mute yourself, everyone, so we can reduce unnecessary noises. Fine. And I made everyone as an organizer, so you can start yourself recording. Right. So let me explain myself before that. So this is Sudhakar, having more than 9 years of experience in DevOps. So while I started my career, there is no DevOps word at least. So that time I started career with the build and release management and software configuration management, or so just release management, or deployment management. Different types of roles is there, but now it's all comes under one umbrella. That's name called a DevOps. But nothing changed before and after DevOps comes into the market. So only few automation process enhanced on existing process. So other than nothing much difficult or different, before also the same process I continued. And so I'm working with some top MNC company, and I've been with the training since 4 years. I'm given more than 20 batches, each batch around 10 members. And so myself, more involving into the DevOps tools like Chef, Ansible, Docker, AWS, Jenkins, and Git version control system, SonarQube, and more automation tools like Nexus repository is there, Python, shell scripting. So I involved in my entire career into different environments with the different tools, with the different types of automation. Even now I'm working with the complete in and out the Salesforce automation using the DevOps practice. So this is about myself. So I'm expecting you guys what and where and what you are going to expecting from the DevOps. So let's start with Abhinav. Abhinav, can you go ahead about yourself?
Yeah, so right now I'm working as a developer for a company called Monsanto. So I'm working as a iOS developer. So I just wanted to learn DevOps and switch into DevOps because in these days, like if you learn like or if you go through only one
How long you
technology,
been there?
it's
How long you been working?
1.5 years.
1.5. Okay,
Yeah.
good.
So,
You have idea Java?
yeah,
Coding.
not Java, but yeah, I have idea about Objective-C mobile development, Swift, yeah, iOS.
Okay, good.
So not into Java.
Okay, next, Arvind.
Yeah.
Trial.
Arvind, can you hear me?
Trial.
Ravi?
Trial.
Yes, Sudhakar, this is Ravi. Yes, Sudhakar, this is Ravi.
Some voice is disturbing, Ravi. Ravi, go ahead.
Can you hear me right now?
Yes, Ravi.
Hello. Yes, Sudhakar. Yeah, and I'm from Samra Infotech, and I completed my master's over here.
Huh.
And right now I'm planning to go with DevOps with AWS training.
Hmm.
Since like last 15 days, I was learning like about few technologies in DevOps, like few tools like Maven
Hmm.
and then Subversion. I mean, I just have a look about everything.
Yourself, you did that, right?
Yeah.
Good. Hmm.
And also I just learned like few like commands in the Linux too.
Good.
Yeah. And then yeah, that's all.
Okay, good. Simran, can you start yourself? Samurai, can you hear
Yeah,
me?
Samurai is our company name. It's just like you don't need to bother about that.
Oh, okay. Sandeep.
Yeah, hi. Uh, Actually, I did my bachelor's in computer science. Like it's in 2007, but now I 4 months ago I did the Salesforce developer certification, and I go for the training. But like I'm not doing, working in that field yet. But like I wanna learn some more tools and some more things. So I'm going to join this.
Okay, so you didn't have any experience, work experience, so
No,
just to learn
no,
all.
I don't have.
Good. Okay. Shravan?
Hey, hi, good morning, Sudhakar. Currently, I'm working as a database ETL tester in the Prime Therapeutics. It's a
Hmm.
pharmacy domain. So I was pretty much interested to learn like the DevOps. So it's emerging in this market. The new version earlier it was built and released. Now they're saying the DevOps with all these
Hmm.
tools. But I have only the words like
Hmm.
Jenkins, Maven, Puppet, and all that stuff, Doc or something. But I did not have any uh,
Hmm.
in-depth knowledge on it. So that's the reason I just wanted to
Hmm.
learn it
Hmm.
for
Hmm.
for the long-term run in my career. That's what I'm looking for.
Okay, good. Raj?
Thank you.
Trial.
Hello. Hi, Sudhakar.
Hey, Raj. Go ahead.
Hi, Sudhakar. My name is Raj. Coming to my working experience, I worked for Google Maps for about 2 years, and I also
Hmm.
worked for IBM Tech Support. But
Hmm.
it's nothing into DevOps actually. So,
Okay.
but though I know some concepts in DevOps, like how it works and all.
Hmm.
Yeah. And as you know, DevOps is trending nowadays, so that's why I just want to take course in this.
Good.
Trial.
Okay, Raj, mute yourself.
Yeah.
Something,
Yeah.
voice is coming from when you are
Trial.
in unmute. Okay, now it's good. Right. Guys, let's start. Thanks for your introduction. And so, first and most basic question is, what is the DevOps? What exactly DevOps mean? Anyone idea about that? What exactly DevOps mean?
DevOps DevOps is like it's a combination of developers and operators, and
Hmm.
it's used for continuous integration and continuous deployment,
Hmm.
so that the company can develop applications or anything. They can do it very quick,
Hmm. Hmm. Good.
and they can also
And
release it by giving continuous feedback.
is it a specific tool or any
No,
other?
it's not a tool. DevOps is not
Uh,
a tool. It's
hmm.
we can say that it's a work culture.
Hmm. Hmm.
It's a kind of methodology, and it's a work culture where the organizations need to adopt this work culture. It's not something, I mean, DevOps doesn't have any specific tool. Like, it works with different tools, but it's not a tool. Yeah, the word DevOps, it's a combination of developers and operators, as I told you.
Right. Good, Raj. Okay. As Raj said, so DevOps is not a specific tool. It's like a process. I can say it's a methodology, or the process is made with a group of principles. A DevOps is made with a group of principles should adopt in each member in a team should follow that process and the principles to achieve the releases and to achieve the delivery more within timeline. So I'll give the one simple example. Amazon introduced the DevOps practice around 3 years ago. 3 years ago, DevOps practices implemented, perfect DevOps practice implemented. Before, so I'm not figured out exactly how many releases happened, but after implementation of the DevOps, they officially announced per hour 1042 deliveries will happen. Its count was 2 years ago. Per hour 1042 deliveries. So miracle. So that is the power of DevOps. So DevOps is a methodology that used to achieve our releases or to enhance our more deliveries. So that is the main purpose implementing the DevOps. But how and what is exactly the DevOps can perform? So what principles are can be set up with our team and what methodologies can be used to achieve those releases, that we are going to teach. What are the tools can be achieve these all practice. So DevOps is a word came into the market first time in 2009. That's somebody I'm not remembered exact name. So that guy is announced some article with the name of DevOps, but market is came very popular in 2015 only. But few companies are around like big Amazon or Google, like big companies are almost started using in 2013 onwards, 2013 or 2014. But in industry, no one knows about the DevOps practice or what DevOps exactly. No one did not implement it still. So few companies only aware about and implemented that process in that project. 2015 and 2016, I can say the golden year for the DevOps. That word, everyone. So one simple word. When I started career, I'm working as a configuration management or build and release management. Everyone asking me, so in which technology you are working? I'm saying simple thing. So I'm working with the release management or configuration management. So everyone looks very strangely. Is there any technology is there? So it's not relevant to Java or .NET. Simple, they are written question to me. And finally 2016. So if I'm saying to everyone DevOps, so there looks like some bit of a proud. Oh, my friend is working as a DevOps engineer. Now it's in the market lead. So world is so now bringing very rapidly. DevOps is technology is coming in the market. So that is the power of DevOps. So the basic and the main concept of the DevOps is to increase our releases and delivery, first thing. Second thing, to automate complete in and out delivery and integration process. So what is the delivery process and what is the integration process? How it could be automated? So that I will teach you. So what are the tools involved in between? So in integration process or delivery process, for which areas DevOps can be support. So right, so this is the main things. First thing is the to achieve our more releases and increase our deliveries, and to make more automation process from starting to end of the delivery. So these are the three basic points DevOps can be achieved. So in which what are the tools we are going to use, and what are the process, and where as a DevOps engineer can be role involved. So that we will teach slowly. Before that, the word DevOps comes between the how it comes, the DevOps word. The word DevOps comes developers and operations. Developers means who's developed the code. Operations means so they are maintaining the infrastructure. So huge infrastructure like servers, and so where you are installing your product. So either servers or some more hardware components, they are maintaining the operations team. So that team activities and the developers activities, so there are some conflicts and overlapping. To reduce those conflicts and overlappings, so DevOps comes into the picture. Right. Let me explain before that. I'll give the in and out from starting development activities to end the release activity, and how the code will passing through orchestration, and how the code will so moving from one stage to another stage, and finally how we'll get the release, how we'll get the bundle, that product bundle. So I'll explain a brief introduction about that, then you come to know where DevOps can be fitted in that area, and what are principles can be implemented, and what are the tools needs to be learned. So I will explain those things first of all. Right. So for example, this is the developers box. All developers working here, developer 1, developer 2, developer 3, like a number of developers working in a project now. So just for sample, I'm using with 3 developers. They are working in a project. So each developer developing their code or task, either it could be a Java, or it could be a .NET or PHP, whatever it may be, irrespective. So a DevOps is not a specific language, or it's applicable for not a specific language. So the DevOps practice can be implemented into either Java language, or .NET language, or PHP, or even Salesforce, or so it could be. 1 minute, guys. So it could be implemented in any of the languages or any of the project. So any of the team can be implemented the DevOps process. So here just assume there is a dev box is there. So in that many developers are working. So it may be a Java project, or .NET project, or PHP project, or so HTML, or any of them. So CBIL also. So this is the developers box. Earlier means around 20 years or 15 years ago, so the developer developed the code. So they are mostly focusing to achieve the task, or to achieve the logics. So they are keep developing their code in the language. So where they are saving their code, first of all, they are saving the code into their location itself. So for example, one module is developing by the developer 1, second module is developing by the developer 2, and third module is developing by the developer 3, like that. So as an architect, he is consolidate all different developers code, and integrating all the code, all developers code, and and taking the build and deploying into the servers. This is the architect role earlier days, but it's very difficult while integration. So even it is very frequently conflicts will happen, like the same code will be developed by the developer 1, the same code developed by the developer 2 also, because lack of communication. So that's the reason there is a tool implemented called a version control system. This is a version control system. All developers are get connected to the direct version control system. This is the centralized tool, so where all developers code available here itself. All developers code available here. This is the code part. Each and every developer pushing their code into repository, and when they require they can pull it updated version. So this is called a version control system or source code management. Source code management. So now the complete code is available in central place, that is a repository. My product complete code is available in one location itself. So earlier it should be available into a different developer's location only. So as an architect, I have to, as an architect, he needs to collect all developers code from their location and consolidatedly or integrating their code. So and manually he has to resolve the issues. It takes more than 2-3 days to integration process only. For integration process it takes 2-3 days for architect level, and he will prepare the build, then he pushing into the servers to deploy. So now one source code is implemented, so every developer is get connected with the source code management. So all developers developing their code could be available into the one location itself. It's very easy to get the build, or easy to compile, and easy to integrate also. So now my complete code available in one location, but that should be in the form of so binaries only, or high level language only. Because one thing, suppose if you aware about the C language, when I am developing the C language code, for example sample, so that is called a sample.c. When you are saving that file, sample.c, always developers develop the code in the high level language only. High level language means so user understandable format. So that cannot be understood by the system, and it cannot be executed directly. So it needs to convert into their language. So system always can understand only the machine language. So but we cannot write any code into the machine language. So then we understand only high level language. That language we developed that code from that. So we have to convert into the machine understandable format. For that we are using either compilers or interpreters to convert our code into the machine language. So either some languages using the compilers, some languages using the interpreters. So which language supports for the compilers, that is called a languages, and which one supports for the interpreters, that we can say the scripting. So either scripting and languages are both are programming languages, both are the same, but which one supports the compiler, we are usually saying that a programming. Which one supports for interpreter, that we are saying the scripting. So either shell script or JavaScript, these all are supports the interpreters only. So there is a slight difference between the interpreter and the compiler. It's a basic thing, we no need to go in depth about those things. So here what I'm going to say, so usually developers develop the high level language, that code into the high level language, and it requires to compile into the low level language, and then it could be executed. When it get compiled, when it could be compiled, then it automatically it creates the one file called sample.obj file, object file. When you are going to execute this obj file only can be understand. When you are going to execute, again it creates one more file called exe file. This file I'm going to I'm going to deliver to the client. Okay, so this is a simple example. I'm creating the one product. That product is name called sample.c, and I converted into the low-level language sample.obj, and I executed that file. I got the file sample.exe. That is the main final file. I'm going to give only obj file and not original file. I'm going to deliver only obj file and sample.exe file. These two files I'm going to deliver to the client. Okay, so here also, if at all a Java program, then so by default it creates a Java. Then when you compile, automatically you will get the class file. When you execute, you will get the exe file. So this is the Java file format. This is the C file. This is the Java file. Like .NET also. So by default, having the .NET file depends on the either C#.NET, C# or what are the areas in .NET? C#.NET, ASP.NET is there for front end. So depends on that. It creates a extension, and finally we will get the DLL files. For .NET we will get the DLL files. Right. Now individually I compiled a files, so and I got a class files individually, and finally these all class files I'll make a one directory. That directory I want to zip that directory. That is called a build. That is called a build. So, or that is called my artifactory. That is called my artifacts. Build or artifacts or bundle. What it called? Bundle. In olden days, developers focus on only developing their task or developing the logics and keep their code into the some location. Around thousands of files are there. These all 1,000 files could be compiled before the deployment. So all 1,000 files can be transferred into the .class files. All .class files together, I'll put it into the one directory and make it as a zip folder. That is, I can say either var or var or er files. I can create the jar file or er file or var file, and I will deploy into the application servers. Usually, this is the happening into the traditional Java approach. Now, this process also will take more than 3 days or 4 days to bundle it and to get the final artifact and deploying into the application server. It's very hectic process. If developer is involving, he is very highly paid person. So a monotony activity like compiling all individual files, it takes more than 1 day or 2 days before each release. So I'm not going to involve the developers to do these activities. So no developer can work with the compilation process. No developer can work with a build process or bundle, or no developer works with the deployment process. He is always focused on to only thinking on the logic and develop the code. Okay, who will take care rest of things? Who will take care the source code management? Who will take care so build the source code? Who will take care deployment? Who will take care so the in and out the code flow from development area to testing area? Who will take care the flow of a bundle from test area to either UAT area or production area? So many roles are in between development area to release. So these all the roles who will take care. So earlier there was a different roles or specifically a source code management role or a separate deployment role or or environment engineer role or build and release engineer or configuration management. So such a different types of roles available earlier now. So this complete in and out process from the developer's box to into the production box, many such roles are there, but these all comes under the one umbrella is called DevOps. Now I'm giving the idea about where DevOps roles are performed. One thing here, so as a DevOps engineer, we should know the source code management and we should know the build process and we should know the deployment process and we should know the environment so designing. So we should know the branching strategy and we should know the integration process and these all so how we can automate is a major important. And now it's very latest so technology comes into the market, so now it's a complete world is leading cloud environment. The same traditional approach how you are merging or emerging in complete existing process into the cloud. How can you bring this existing process into the cloud? How can you develop from scratch level into the cloud? Okay, so let me explain first of all. So this is a developer box. All developers are get connected to the source code management. Why? Because my complete product code is available in one centralized location. So every developer, if developer develops any code that he needs to push into the central repository itself. So my code is available here. Now I would like to get the build in the sense before that we need to compile into the system language. So for that there are some tools are there under build process. So this is the build process. This is the build process. So here we have to take the build based on existing code management, based on existing code which is available in central repository. Using some of the build tools. What are the build tools? Here Ant is one tool and Maven is one tool and Gradle is one tool. Gradle is the one tool, or we can write in a shell script also, or Python or Perl. So using any scripting language we can prepare the build. So these are the tools to take the build. So what type of build you can take it here. You can take the jar files, you can take the var files, you can take the ER files. What is the jar? Java archiver. Var means web archiver. ER means enterprise archiver. So I will explain about the brief these all three things. What is the jar, what is the var, what is the ER files. So these three is relevant to the Java, and if you go with the .NET, so we are preparing the .dll files. Okay, so other languages like Salesforce. If you take the Salesforce, so directly we are compiling and directly we are pushing into the sandbox, like SIT sandbox or UAT sandbox or any sandbox, we can directly push it. So we cannot prepare any jar, var or ER or DLL files. It's not required in Salesforce. Okay, so these are the build files. We can say this is the build files, or we can say artifacts, or we can say bundle. Okay, how we are preparing using these tools. These are the build tools is important. And where we'll get the source code. That source code is available in one centralized location is called a source code management. How we are creating this repository and where we can keep this repositories. Who will take it the management this tool. So there are some tools available to maintain the source code management. One is earlier version is VCS, version control system. After that, very famous version CVS, concurrent version control system. After that, very famous in market SVN subversion. So after that, there is a, so now very leading in the market the source code management tool is Git. So these all are the freeware, but along with some more paid versions are there, which are Perforce. One is a Perforce, and another one is ClearCase, and another one is the Antil Pro. So, and IBM tools, some more ubuild, udeploy, or some version tools is there, and even for TFS also is there for .NET. These all are the version control tools. At least you might aware about these are the tools. There is a tool for version control system. There is a tool for build automation tools. So you have at least know about the tool names before going into, because some projects using different either Perforce or Antil Pro or ClearCase. So if you learn only one tool, so you are pretty aware about that tool. What about rest of the tools? Also performing the same activities, but you are not aware about that, but interviewer asking about that tool. But conceptual wise is everything is the same. How Git is managing the repository, the same way is managing the SVN also. And how Git is creating the version history, and the same way it creates the rest of the tools also performing the same activities. But at least they are not asking in detailed about the command level, but they are asking the conceptual wise in the tooling level. You should know that what tool can perform. So Perforce, ClearCase, Antil Pro, TFS, Git, SVN, CVS, VCS. These all tools relevant to the source code management, but we are going to teach only Git. Now leading the market Git version control system. Okay, TF is completely relevant to the .NET, not for rest of, it's not supports for rest of open source languages like PHP or any open source languages. So I prefer to learn only Git. So here there is a couple of tools for preparing the build. One is Ant, Maven, Gradle, Shell, Python, Perl, but we will teach Ant and Maven. Both are useful, very useful to automate your build process. Okay, so once I get the build, so I will push these all jars into the another binary repository. So that is called separate build repository. So this repository is different, source code repository is different, and build repository is different. So that can be prepared and can be maintained with different tools like Nexus. Nexus is one latest tool, and another one is Artifactory. This tool can be used to maintain your build repository. So, and you can push your jars and vars or ERs, anything, any build you can push from here to here. So your final build available here itself. Your code wise, complete code available here, that code can be get compiled. That compiled package I keep here itself. So that complete package we can keep here itself. Suppose today I prepared one build. So after that some developers did some changes, and again I'm taking one more build. So again, so I don't want to lose my previous build. So for that reason, I'm always keeping my old builds also. So that reason I maintain the Nexus repository or artifact repository. So my previous, so latest and historical builds also available here. The latest is the complete latest code. Okay, so my build is available now. So then I'm going to deploy. Where you are going to deploy? In servers. In servers, I'm differentiated in different environments. One is the dev environment, second is the production environment, SIT environment, UAT environment, different types of environment. Where you are deploying means different environments I am deploying. Environment means you are creating that environment into the servers only. So this is the one environment, another environment. This is a, like, it depends on the project. So we have multiple environments. One is the dev environment, because developers develop the code. Code is available in source code management, and I prepare the build, and that build I pushed it into the Nexus repository, and that I deployed into dev environment. This is our local environment, or we can say lower environment. So this environment is used by the developers only, because like this is like a production environment. So it's only is copy of the production environment. So we are deploying the code into the dev environment and giving that environment to the developers. They will test whether their code is working or not, whether their implemented features are came into the environment or not. So they will check. Once they will do the sanity testing or unity test, so their code is working properly. So if I get the green signal, then the same code I am going to deploy into the QA environment. That is called QA environment, or I can say SIT environment, system integration testing. So, and one more environment is there, that is called UAT environment, user acceptance testing, or CAT environment, or customer acceptance testing, either or this is also success. I can so again pass into the security environment, or system vulnerability environment, or performance environment, or pre-prod environment, or finally I am deploying into production. How these environments are created? Using the some application servers where you are deploying. So in this environment means we are creating this environment in the application servers, using the application servers in a server. So what are the application servers? JBoss is their free version, Tomcat, JBoss, WebSphere, WebLogic, and Glassfish. So WebSphere is the product of IBM, WebLogic is a product of Oracle, Glassfish, Tomcat, and JBoss. These three are the free versions. So for enterprise and secured applications, most of the projects are preferred either WebSphere or WebLogic. So unsecured, but no, very minimal, like very small projects can be used either Tomcat or JBoss or Glassfish. So majority of minimal small projects occupied by the JBoss or Tomcat. So majority of secured projects or enterprise projects can be deployed into either WebLogic or WebSphere. But now most of applications being deployed into the WebLogic. So we will teach here WebLogic and Tomcat. Both we will teach. So teach WebLogic or Tomcat in the sense, so not admin level, how to deploy and how to clustering and how to manage those servers. So how to create that environment. So how to start up that server and how to shut down that server, how to write the scriptings for automate. So these things will teach in Tomcat and WebLogic. Okay. So here my code is available in central repository and I get the build and I push that build into repository and I get the latest build and deploy it into different environment. I'm deploying into the dev environment so developers will test it. So testing is success. Then I deploy the same build into the QA environment. So QA environment started the testing. If there is any errors found or defects found, again they will raise the tickets for the defects and the developers will fix it. And again that fix is available into source code management. I'll get the one more build and I push that build into Nexus repository and again that I will deploy into dev environment. So developers are tested and once it's success again I deploy into the QA. Now so earlier what the defects are raised, now it fixed and they will test it. So everything is fine. That build I deployed again into UAT. UAT is the user acceptance testing or customer acceptance testing. This can be happened by the client side. So client will test it defects and tested that build. Then build is success, then again I'm performing into the performance environment. So it's not applicable for all the projects. So some of the projects having the performance and some of the projects it doesn't have, because that performance testing is checking whether this build is deployed into the production environment. Is it impacting to your performance? Like if you are trying to open the ICICI account or any banking online account, so how fast you can able to log in, that is a major important. If it is logging time is a very delayed, then you are feeling very irritating to operate that account. So that customer satisfaction also is very most important. So for that reason, for each build I'm testing into the some performance environment also, how so it performing. So once performance is also testing is also done, it have the some staging environment, some projects. So we keep those builds into the staging environment. Finally we are deploying into the products. It's a production environment. This is a process. And here my question is, so directly developer get connected to the source code management. So then how I can get source complete my code and get so artifact or package here, so who will take care? So this is a manual intervention is required. You have to run the script to get the build. So that script can be writing by the DevOps team. Okay, so that script written by the DevOps team using the Maven or Ant or Gradle or any of the scripting tool, we can write it and get the source code from here, and we will get the package and will push into the Nexus artifact. So here, suppose if I written a code from the Maven, you have to go that location and run that file, then only you will get. It's a completely manual intervention. Instead of that, there is some automation process or a framework is there that is called a continuous integration and a continuous delivery framework. So that is that can be we can achieve using the some of the tools called continuous integration or continuous delivery, CI/CD pipeline, or we can say CI/CD. So continuous integration or continuous delivery. Right, CI/CD. So this CI/CD processor so can be achieved using some of the tools called Jenkins. Earlier it is called a Hudson. Earlier it is called Hudson. Now Hudson acquired by the Oracle. So Oracle company acquired Hudson and changed the name called Jenkins. So it's a freeware. And another some tools are there. Atlassian tool, Bamboo also is there. It is also a CI/CD pipeline. And another tool is there that is called Antil Pro. Here not supports the source code. I have given the Antil Pro example in the source code management. Antil Pro is not source code management example. It's I missed it here. Antil Pro is CI/CD pipeline. And any other cruise control. Cruise control is there, but it's a paid version. Here instead of that there is another tool, Bitbucket. Bitbucket is there. And earlier one more version is there, Bitkeeper. So I forget these two. Bitbucket Atlassian tool, Bitkeeper is a old version. So and Stash also is there. So these are the some source code management tools. These are the version CI/CD management tools. Continuous integration, continuous delivery. So now very familiar popular tool is the Jenkins. So Jenkins is a framework. It doesn't do anything, or it cannot perform anything independently. So what it can do? Just we are giving the configuration here. So my source code repository is placed here, and my target repository placed here. So take the source code, complete code, and prepare the build and push that build into the Nexus repository. So that is the one task for the CA. And another one would be the delivery or deployment. So take the latest latest build from repository, Nexus repository, and deploy into the dev environment, or deploy into the QA, or deploy into the UAT. So this type of configuration can be done here itself in continuous integration. So these all things are in the back end. This is only the front end. So you just configure everything into the Jenkins. So you just trigger the jobs. You can able to perform all things like deployment, integration, and automate integration, and so prepare the builds and push into the repositories. So and even monitoring the server's health from the each environment, and you can prepare the code analysis, and so many things you can configure in Jenkins part. So this is a major important work. So we will teach the Jenkins, so complete in and out, so very useful in the DevOps. So till what, so we are going to teach here either Git we can teach for source code management, and Ant and Maven will teach as a build files, build automation, and Nexus we will teach for build repository, and we'll teach for continuous integration and continuous delivery for Jenkins, and we'll teach for application servers either Tomcat and WebLogic, both we will teach. And here there is some tools to automate is required nowadays. It's a SonarQube. So SonarQube is the analysis tool on your code, or it's a code coverage tool, so or it's a code review tool. So now developers develop the code, so that code reviewed by some others, or that code needs to be analyzed. So whether syntactical or semantical errors are there, you can find out before the deployment itself using the code. So there are some analysis tools required in between, so we can configure in a pipeline, Jenkins pipeline with the SonarQube. We will teach the SonarQube also. So these are the basic traditional approach how your code flow will goes to till deployment. So from the developer box to source code management, from there to preparing the packages, and from here to repository, binary repository, from there to so deploying into the different environment. So these are the dev or QA or UAT or performance. These all things can be happened nowadays using the complete Jenkins CI/CD pipelines. So we can configure here. So everything can be triggered here itself. Not required to go Maven and deploy or run the script. Not required to go into environment and run the scripts. So it's some more manual intervention is required. So earlier days, now it's completely automated using the Jenkins. Okay, so this is the traditional approach. So how we are deploying into the cloud, where cloud comes into the picture, and where the Chef or infrastructure automation comes into the picture, where so the Docker images can be used here. What is the purpose? So we'll go with that brief. Hopefully you guys understand, or so still anyone have doubts? Feel free to ask to me. So no one asking any questions, or guys, is it feel bore? No response.
Yeah, we're good.
It is good. You can continue.
Yeah, we are good.
So able to follow, or so I'm going very fast or very slow, or your comfortable levels, or how I can move? So your feedback is very important to take forward. Okay, good. Right. Right. This is a traditional approach. So it's not involved, it's not a latest trend. It's starting the IT career onwards, everyone is following the same approach. So, but what is the DevOps now? You are saying that completely involved in this process and all. I've seen last 12 years or 15 years onwards, I am in the industry. So complete, sorry, that one guy asking question. More about, it's not more about coding, but we should involve a bit scripting process. So because we do the automate the process, so in between that automation process, we need to write some scripting. So we have to learn the script, either shell script or Perl or Python, anything could be fine. Okay, but I'm not sure. So even if you learn the script, so you are going to play a role to write the script. I'm not sure, because I'm giving the complete idea about the DevOps role. A DevOps role means it's a wide area. These complete source code management is the responsible of DevOps, and build also responsible of the DevOps, and repository, Nexus repository also responsibility of DevOps, and the deployment of these, all the deployment environment specific also responsibility of the DevOps, and CI/CD continuous integration and the delivery also responsible of the DevOps. So these all are the responsibilities of DevOps, or roles of the DevOps. But so if you learn these all the things, so you not going to perform these all the roles. So you might be involved in the source code management, or you might be involved in only Jenkins, or you might be involved in the only deployments, or you might be involved into some only scripting, automating the new things. So that time you require to learn the scripting and more, so enhance your skill set into the scripting. So but till you get the role, so I'm not sure, so you are going to play the scripting. I'm not give the exact picture of your role you are going to perform this one, because it's a very wide area. So in this wide area I'm going to give complete picture, so where DevOps tools are involving, and I'm giving the in and out training. But you might be work with only either cloud, you might be work with only Docker, you might be going work with only Chef or Ansible. So a very less roles you are going to play in your job So in the real time, you cannot able to perform the complete in and out the process. But growing your career level, you have to know the complete process. So you have to know, or you have to stretch with any of the tool or any of the technology to implement in our existing project. So now here come to the back. Clear? I'm clear, or still you guys have any doubts? My intention is not going to teach only particular area where DevOps so area is there. The complete area I'm going to touch. Even in the we will teach the AWS, we will teach Chef, we will teach Docker, we will teach Jenkins, we will teach these Tomcat and WebLogic, we will teach Nexus repository, we will teach source code management, and we will teach Ant and Maven, and in and everything we will touch. So you pretty aware about all the process. So once you enter into the job, then so you can enhance more skills on particular area. So mostly, nearly we are going to teach 13 tools in. So I'm not going to teach all 13 tools. So where I'm expect where I have the able to teach, or we are sharing these all the tools of 4 expert trainers. Means my colleagues are working in the same company, or different, they changed into different companies now. So 5 trainers, 4 to 5 trainers sharing these all the tools, each one either 2 or 3 tools. I'm going to teach, so, and I'm going to teach Git, I'm going to teach Docker. So another trainer will teach, Jenkins, and one more concept, the DevOps complete implementation in under. So guys, so can you mute yourself? Okay. The DevOps, most of the DevOps process implemented in the Linux environment. So we will teach the Linux commands also, basic, not basic, advanced also. So Linux advanced commands and shell script also included. So we are going to teach. Okay. You can ask Ravi.
Yeah, Siddharth, I mean, how this, I mean, in the earlier slide, you showed me like configuration management or build or list tool, right? On the first slide, very first slide. So how the configuration management related to the DevOps?
Good. So here configuration means, many tools developers are performing, like source code management tool and Maven and different environment like servers, different servers are we are working, and these are all around the tool sets. So from the beginning, developers to up to delivery, there are around 20 or more than 20 tools, or sometimes 15 tools or 13 tools are involving. These all the tools can be how optimize our process by configuring. This is the most important. How optimizing your complete process using the configuration. Configuration in the sense just your connectivity between the all tool sets. That is only the configuration management. And one more thing, so for enterprise level, the deployments are orchestration of the process, so can be handled centralized configuration using the some tools. Suppose if it all the very a small projects, we can manually configuring all the things, and we can define the orchestration, and we run that show. But if at all a enterprise application level, so we could not perform manually every time. It's a very hectic. Suppose in enterprise level there is a new enhancements is there, complete all wherever is there configurations you have to change. So that is a very hectic process every time. So it will frequently it will happen changing and version upgradation, or adding the new tool, and so every time when it adding the new tool or when version is upgrading, you need to change the according that you need to change all configurations also. So for that, instead of that, we are maintain the centralized configuration tool by using the either Chef or Ansible, so it can make very easy. Understand?
So you say that we just configure only one time and we just work on that, right? We don't configure
Yes.
every time. We just configure
Every
only
time it's
once.
not required. Suppose
Yeah. One.
if it is a small project, if you are configuring manually, so if you are configuring manually, so if any time, suppose I'm using the WebLogic, now I'm going to upgrade the WebLogic version. Suppose you are upgrading the WebLogic version, you need to configure that version upgradation into the Jenkins also. You need to configure that WebLogic upgradation version into the Maven build tool also, build script also. So there are interlink supported places you need to change that version upgradation also. Then only it can be connectivity. So otherwise you lose the connection, or it cannot perform that deployment activities. So it could be happen manually, that configuration level. But so whereas an enterprise application, like very big applications, you cannot change manually where that configuration happen. These all, suppose if I upgrading my WebLogic version, where this configuration given that version to in different places, so I keep some other file. When upgradation is happen, just I'll update in that file. That file will take care to upgrade the rest of all the things. That is the centralized configuration. That can be happen using some tools like Ansible or Chef. Okay, in the two ways we can manage: automate the configuration system, and manually we can change the configuration system. Right, so come to here. So these all servers are maintained operations team here. Okay, so here some more conflicts between the developers and the operations. Why conflicts between the developers and the operations team? For example, this is the a developer, so just assume developers team. This is the developers team. This is the operations team. So between the developers and operations, it seems some conflict area. We can say this is a conflict area. So regarding this conflict area, so that causes so it's break the deliveries, and it breaks the integration process. So it breaks some more activities also. So we cannot achieve more releases and more frequent deliveries during this conflict time. So how can we achieve? As a picture you are showing two circles. There is it's a common conflict area or union area. It comes by picture, it's saying okay, but practically how can you say there is a conflict between the developers and operations environment? Just one thing, developers are developing the one new feature, okay, that but operations team are established or given the some servers, so from long back they are using the same servers. Okay, it's going cool deployments, so there is no conflict still. Now developers develops a one script, or developers develops a some features. That features can be tested, that features can be work in a specific servers, in a specific servers, or that feature can be tested in a specific configuration. That time, so we don't have that configuration, or we don't have that features in that configuration, or we don't have that servers. Now developers requested to the operations team, hey guys, I developed some features, I need the configuration of the server, so you need to establish immediately. So this is my request. That request goes to the operations team. Operations team, so it passing to the operations head. He will looks for whether really it requires the configuration, or we can adjust into some other servers, or they will look for that. If the question is valid or request is valid, they will pass that request to the finance department. So once get the financial approval, they will give the they will go for the quotations. So they will, once quotations received, they will finalize the quotation and they will procure that server and establishing that server, and installation is happening and so connectivities and everything will happening, security level and everything. Once it done, then only they will provide to the developers. Hey guys, so your request is done and your requested things are ready and you can do and you can start the deployments in that specific servers. How much time will take? This is a complete cycle, you know, minimum of 20 days to 30 days, because it's not a easy. Once you requested a new equipment, procuring is not a simple process. So you need get more approvals from the finance department, the accounts department, and purchase department. So it is all the guys involving to procure the new hardware components and establish and so installation happening. So this is a major conflict. But if at all a planned thing, so before deployment, before going the delivery or before start the development, if at all planned, you can give them a immediate action or a request to the operations team. But so it is some ad hoc request. So I developed a feature, I'm not aware about where to deploy and where to test it. So I'm not pretty aware about at that point while developing. After developed that feature, I come to know this should be tested into specific configurations. So there is no time to delivery. So only either weekdays or 10 days I have. Then what should I do that time? I'm forcing to the operations team, hey guys, this is a very client immediate delivery requirement. You have to do immediately. You are fighting to them. I need this procurement, I need this configuration servers, you have to give it to me, otherwise I cannot deliver. So this is operations team saying this is a process oriented. I'm not violating those principles, though I have to raise a concern and I have to get the approvals from the finance team and accounts team, and I'll get the procurement, and once the hardware component placed in my place, I have to establish and give the security access, and before that I get the security permissions and firewalls implementation, then software installations and licenses, so many involving in that. It takes minimum 20 days. But if you are not delivered in time, so everyone is a sit in their head, developers architect head, development manager head, everyone sit in their head, why you are not delivering in time. That's the reason he is fighting with the operations team. This is the happening. So how to resolve this type of situations? And even sometimes that environment is down and the server is not responding properly and firewall is something problem or something security level problems. These all are maintained by the operations team, always been getting the problems by the developers, and they are raising the concerns to the operations team. They keep working on that issues and fixing that. In between there are some fighting is going on always, because so everything is ready from the developers end and manager is sitting their head and scaring about you are not delivering, so you are not giving the proper deliveries, and he is fighting with them, the dev team. But developers, their end they're done, but only thing is something relevant to the security or something relevant to the firewall or something relevant to the infrastructure oriented, even it's not working their core properly. So for that reason always so there is some fight happening between the operations team and the dev team. It's not a smooth way to between the two teams to achieve the delivery. So that reason it's implemented a DevOps model or practices so to reduce the gap between the operations team and the developers team. How it could be reduced? So one thing, there is a cloud management is involved, and cloud infrastructure or the completed deployments or servers management is in the cloud itself instead of our infrastructure team, one thing. And there are some centralized configurations available, so easily to manage complete things and easily to create the infrastructure by using the infrastructure automation code, Chef or Ansible. And one more advantage in the Docker images also can be deployed easily. So these are some more things is there till almost 1.5 hour started time, so you feel very boring, I think. So shall we continue tomorrow or some other day? Only another half an hour is required to finish it, so I'm also have to run to my office. What's guys? Hello? No response, Ravi? So explain about chef roles, right? Chef, we can use two things, two ways. One is the infrastructure automation, second one is the configuration management. In two ways we can use the chef. Earlier there is a tool called Puppet. Puppet. So Puppet implemented or came into the market in 2005, around 11 years ago, and it has its own language, domain-specific language, DSL. Very difficulty to learn, very difficulty to implement. So it's a quite difficult Puppet. 2009, Chef came into the market. So instead of a domain-specific language, you can write the Ruby language. You can implement the Perl also. Using the Perl or Python also, you can write the cookbooks. It's easy to learn, easy to implement compared to Puppet. 2013, Ansible came into the market. There is no specific language. So you can write AML to a markup language. Very, very simple language. Within an hour you can learn that language. So very easy.
So therefore, what language is that?
AML. YAML. For Chef we are using the Ruby or Perl or Python. But for Ansible we can use AML language. AML is another markup language like HTML. So very simple language you can write. So that's the reason. So that is the reason now Ansible is very popular. My suggestion is don't go for any Puppet language. So no one is implementing using Puppet. So whatever existing implemented process using the Puppet, that is only continued still. Now very popular and familiar and industry lead by either Chef, and new projects are implemented into the Ansible. Either Chef or Ansible is the same, but process wise these three are the same: Puppet, Chef, and Ansible, and one more open source, Salt Stack. So these four are there for configuration management and infrastructure management. Okay, how it works? What is the use? First thing, for example, so in production environment I deployed my product. So I created my complete environment, a dev environment, so UAT environment, and these are my environment is there. On of sudden, my server is got shut down. So completely vanished. My server vanished due to some reason, short circuit or floods or natural calamities or manual intervention, something so happened and completely destroyed my server. To implement the same server, how much time it will take? You have to procure the server, you have to establish, you have to install the softwares, you have to configure. Here big problem is the configuration. How configuration happened at that server is the most important to bring up and running. That is a major important. So these all the things you need to manually do it. But using that server, you can write the code, install Tomcat, install Windows, install this thing, configure this thing, start the service. So like this you are writing the code. Even my server goes down, you run this script, it could be perform installation and step by step all the process automatically. You don't worry about your infrastructure. Even your complete hardware components are destroyed. You just a simple thing, just run the script. I mean, your complete hardware component configurations are procedure. Complete process of the process where you install softwares and configurations, everything you kept into the code in a file. When you run the code, automatically empty server also bringing with complete configuration with the server up and running. Within minutes it could be happen. For example, there are thousands of servers are there. In these thousands of servers, you want to configure one field. You want to configure one field. So earlier you have to go one server and configure, again second server configure, third server configure. Now it's no need worry about that. These all thousand servers are comes in as a we are calling as a node, and we connectivity with the one server. So we are updating that field into the server, and automatically that server is passing to the each node, automatically updated to everyone. That is happening with the Chef. Chef is the server node based technology, but whereas Ansible is the only node based, no server. SSH authentication, using the SSH authentication it could be possible. So that will come to know, we'll teach everything while we are going. Clear doubt? Somebody asked about Chef.
Yeah, it's clear. And one more question is, where do we store the? Where do we store the code which we write in Chef? As you said, we write in the form of code.
Yes.
Yeah,
for server architecture, when we are going to implement server Chef architecture is there is a Chef server is required, okay, and workstation is required. You are a Chef engineer working with the Chef. In your workstation you should write the code, okay. After writing the code, that is called a cookbook. So that program is called a recipes. It's completely it's a kitchen language. So that cookbooks you are uploading into the Chef server. There are 1,000 servers are there that we are saying the nodes. All 1,000 nodes are get connected to the Chef server. When you are uploading to your cookbook, your code into the server, every 30 minutes interval, so these all nodes are updated with the Chef server, syncing with the Chef server. Hello?
I got it.
Okay.
Following.
Right.
Yeah.
Closing the session today. So we'll continue next session by communicating with Shiva. He will plan next session onwards. Thank you guys.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.